Hi, and welcome back to English Lessons with Stephanie. This is Grammar Lesson 12 on the present progressive tense, also called the present continuous tense. So what is the present progressive tense? Well, this is a verb form that uses the present simple form of the verb be, plus another verb with an ing ending, also called a gerund. So here are some examples of the present progressive tense. I am talking. You are eating. They are walking. We are studying. He is sleeping. And she is laughing. Each one of these verb forms has a present simple form of the be verb plus an ing verb. Usually when we use the present progressive tense, especially when we're talking, we use contractions. So these would become I'm talking, you're eating, they're walking, we're studying, he's sleeping, and she's laughing. When we want to make the present progressive form negative, we just add not between the be verb and the ing verb. So I am not talking, you are not eating, they are not walking. And again, we use contractions to make it look like this. I'm not talking, you're not eating, they're not walking, etc. Now that you know what the present progressive tense looks like, when should we use it? Take a look at these sentences and see if they are okay. He's crying because he's sad. I'm studying medicine in college. She's traveling in Spain for 2 weeks. Yesterday they're arguing about money. My brother's leaving for work at 8 tomorrow. I'm knowing the answer, and we're in the middle of doing our homework. Do all of these sentences seem okay to you? We use the present progressive tense to show that something is happening now. That means an action started before the sentence, continues during the sentence, and will continue after the sentence. This applies to both short actions and long actions. So short actions like he's crying because he's sad, that's happening right now. It started before I said that, it's happening as I say that, and it will probably continue after I stop talking. Or if I say right now we're eating lunch, the same is true. We started eating lunch before this sentence, we're eating it during the sentence, and we'll probably continue eating it after the sentence. Then there are the longer actions. Like in the example, I'm studying medicine in college. Maybe I'm not studying right this moment. I don't have a book in front of me, but I started a year or two ago. That's in the past. I'm doing it regularly these days and will continue to do it in the future. Or if I say she's studying in Spain for 2 weeks, that means she is already in Spain, she's there right now, and will be there maybe another few days. She's in the middle of her 2 weeks. Or if I say I'm reading a great book, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm reading right now. It could mean I'm reading right now, but it could mean like I started the book yesterday and I'm not finished with it yet. Present progressive sometimes has the same use as the present simple tense, in that both can be used for planned future events with future clauses. And we studied the present simple tense in Grammar Lesson 2. And remember that present simple was used to describe habits and routines usually. Like in this example here, he leaves for work around 8 every morning. That means every day, that's a habit. If I use the present progressive form, I say he's leaving for work, that means now. We can't say he's leaving for work at 8 every morning. That doesn't work. We don't use the present progressive to describe habits. However, both can be used to describe future events if a future clause is used. So in the second line, my brother is leaving for work at 8 tomorrow, that means in the future. And the same thing is true with the present simple tense. My brother leaves for work at 8 tomorrow, that's also future. So in this example, when we talk about the future, we can use present progressive or present simple. I know that's a little confusing because the verb tenses are called present and we're talking about the future, but we use a lot of different verb tenses to talk about the future with these future clauses like this, at 8 tomorrow. Okay, so one thing to know about the present progressive tense is it's not often used with stative verbs. Stative verbs are verbs that describe long-lasting states, and here are some examples. Mental states, like think, understand, know, senses, see, smell, taste, sound, possession, like I have, own, want, or feelings, love, like, hate, and feel. So in this case, the stative use for know, for example, would be I don't know something. We wouldn't say I'm not knowing something or I am knowing something. We just don't use know in the progressive form. The same is true with senses. We don't say the soup is smelling good, we say it smells good. Or possession, she needs a new book, not she's needing a new book. Or I love this book, not I'm loving this book. For these examples, we would use the present simple tense. It's possible to use some of these verbs in progressive tenses to mean something is happening right now in an active way. So, for example, you can use think as a progressive thing if you're showing that you're thinking about something actively right now. I'm thinking about this problem right now. But we wouldn't say, I think you are correct, like I believe you are correct. But you could say thinking in the progressive tense if you're actively thinking, trying to solve a problem. For smelling, you can say he's smelling something. That means he's like sniffing it. He's trying to appreciate or enjoy a smell. Or possession, you could say she's having fun to describe something that's right now. So lately, people have started to use love and hate or like these feeling words in the present progressive tense. The English language is changing all the time. And now you can sometimes hear people say, oh, I'm loving this book, which is not really grammatically correct. In the past, we would use this to mean I have been loving this book in the present perfect tense. But lately, people have been saying I'm loving something to show that they're really enjoying something recently. But when you're writing and when you're speaking in a formal way, we don't really use feeling words in the present progressive form. Okay, next we should talk about in the middle of. In the middle of is often uncertain in the present progressive form because we often use the present progressive to describe something that's happening now. So we can say, I can't talk. I'm in the middle of studying for my test. We're in the middle of discussing our project. He's in the middle of cooking dinner. They're in the middle of cleaning the garage. And we just put this in the middle between the be verb and the ing verb. And this is a very common way of using the present progressive form. Now we'll talk about how we spell the ing verb because there are some rules. And you might remember some of these when we learn the simple past because a lot of these are the same rules for how we make the ed simple past form. So with the ing verb, the gerund verb, for most verbs we just add ing. So in this first column, we just add help becomes helping, just add the ing. Look becomes looking, attend becomes attending, play becomes playing. The biggest rule is for verbs that end with one vowel, that's A, E, I, O, U, before one consonant, that's the rest of the letters of the alphabet. And if that happens, you need to double the consonant before adding ing. And this is done for pronunciation purposes. Nap becomes napping, hug becomes hugging, rip becomes ripping, stop becomes stopping. If we didn't add these extra consonants, these words would be pronounced differently. We would get naping, huging, riping, and stoping. And just like with the ed verbs, we don't double W and X, as shown in this column here. And then finally, if a verb ends with an E, we're going to drop the E before adding ing. So smile, we take the E off and then add ing. Wave, take the E off, add ing. Okay? And unlike the past tense, there are no special rules for Y endings. So if a verb ends in Y, to make the gerund form, the ing verb, we just add ing. Okay, so that's a lot of information, but let's practice. Let's complete the sentences with the present progressive form. So pause the video, try to work out the answers to these 6 examples, and then unpause the video to see the answers. So here are the answers you should have come up with. The baby is sleeping. He is trying to finish his project. I am reading one of his books. She is writing. You are starting. She is sitting. And you could also have made the contractions, the short forms. Okay, the last thing we'll talk about today is making questions. And to make questions using the present progressive form, we just put the helping verb in front of the subject and then follow it with the ing verb. We talked about this a little bit in grammar lesson 10 when we talked about making questions. And this is the same thing because the verb will come first and then the subject. So to change these sentences into questions, we would just move the helping verb in front of the subject. So he is crying becomes is he crying. I'm studying becomes are you studying. She's traveling becomes is she traveling. He's leaving for work, is he leaving for work? And we're in the middle, are you in the middle of doing something? So let's practice. Look at these sentences, pause the video, and change them into questions, and then unpause the video to see the answers. So here are the answers you should have come up with. Okay, so that's our grammar lesson for today. I know we talked about a lot today, so to really practice, you should go to the website and download the grammar worksheet so you can get a lot more practice making the present progressive form. If you're enjoying these free grammar lessons, please be sure to like, comment, ask questions, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.